for the other ones. And the nice thing about Photoshop is that once you've used one filter, it remembers it. So by hitting shape 9 and then going to filter, Gaussian blur, same settings will apply. Do that for 10. And the others. Let's trim some of these up by selecting the ones that are sticking out a little bit, pressing M for the marquee tool and dragging out an area like so to cover that offshoot of layer there, and then hit delete. Let's keep the marquee there and change layers because it's in the same place, and just let's remove, I'm moving down the layers so that we keep the same line, the same crisp line there. So it's done. Then we just take that top layer, do the same. Just remove that little bit that's gone over the top there. Excellent. Oh, and there's also that bit down there. Select, drag, and remove little bits to tidy it up. Let's just change that nav bar to a deeper grey. So, and these streaks here, we're going to click on the far side of the layers to the right there. Don't click on the name and don't click on the thumbnail, click to the right. Double click to bring up the layer styles. Now here you can change the colour of the layers, which is what we want to do, but the colour will change, but it will remain this blur, keep this blurriness, which is part of the effect that we want. So here in the layer styles, if you go down to colour overlay, wow, that's quite a good red, isn't it? So quite happy with that. It's normal, that's okay. Okay, that. And you'll see little eye icons there for effects and colour overlay that's been applied there. Let's do that for the other layers. Colour overlay. Let's pick a different colour. Let's pick blue. That's the next layer. Colour overlay. Wow, these are vivid colours. Do the next one. Colour overlay. Okay, that. And the last one. Okay. Very vibrant colours. I've added a little box there, which will be where our navigation elements will be put. And also with this background grey, I'm just going to rescale that down a little bit so that it just covers the content area. So by clicking on that layer, and again using Control T, hold down Shift and drag down just above that content block. So double click that to get the change. Oh, I've kept a copy of that layer. It's very important, I meant to say. I kept a copy of that layer, duplicated it in the layers panel there, as we'll need that in a second. But let's go down to the background layer by clicking the background, and then we'll go over to the tools panel and select the gradient tool, which is that tool there, or by hitting G on your keyboard. Select that background layer, and we have, you click at the top panel there, we've got the gradient editor. We're using the first one, we're using a preset. It's fine and dandy, so OK that. And then choose a point in the center, top center, and click and drag down a little bit. length, and then let go. See, you've got a gradient, black to grey gradient appear there. Now go back to the background layer that we duplicated, highlight that, and then Control click on that layer to make a selection and turn off the layer, and now create a new layer. And in that new layer we'll stroke that with a colour by selecting Edit, Stroke, pick a white colour, or white is the colour. With a 2 pixel stroke, click OK, and then hit Control D to deselect. Like so. So you've got a white border around where the content area extends up to. But click on that layer, click on that stroke, and then go to the opacity settings there and drop that down a little bit, just so it's quite a fine border there. Then you can start artworking of your site. You see I've added a few elements here because we've got the basic framework, so images, add in the images for the content, your text, some more text, more images, just building it up, adding the navigation there and a search bar. That's all what artworking stuff is all about. So you've got your basic layout you've created with your blocks, start working on your masthead there and your content hierarchies below it. Now this template, the way this was built, is actually based on a real website which I created. Let me show you how that ends up looking. There you go. You can see from the basic layout which was created with vector layers, it's artworked up, a few little effects put from the filter palette, filter menus in Photoshop, a few little tweaks, and hey presto, there's a website. But hey, you've got to put it into HTML and split it all up, but that's another story and possibly for another podcast. And that's it for this week's Web Design TV. Be sure to send us your suggestions for future podcasts to podcast@futurenet.co.uk.